We can talk about the climate crisis, people ruining that fountain. Good morning and welcome to Get Real America.
I'm Bill Edwards.
I'm Brittany Brown.
And welcome to another week in May. Just about to go into where we're going to the home stretch pretty much with Memorial Day weekend coming up.
A week from today.
Yeah, as a matter of fact.
Memorial Day. So hopefully we have some good plans. 3-day weekend.
Let's find out. Meanwhile, it's a welcome aboard as we talk about some of the things that are going on in our lives and your lives. And give you an idea, Savannah police officer said that a car officer was hit and damaged after a person driving a stolen vehicle ran a stop sign. There was a shooting out on Montgomery Crossroads, and things are still continuing to get out of hand here in Savannah.
Seems like things are going well. Things are going well.
Yeah, just perfect for George Soros people.
Yeah, I was going to say, the DA here has done a bang-up job.
Sure has. Emphasis on the bang-up.
Yeah. Well, I think they've also been talking about how many of the trials are being delayed and that they're overwhelmed. I mean, she is playing the victim right now as well. I don't know if you've seen any of those reporting on that, but must be nice.
Yeah, sure.
Nice.
Oh, it's always nice to be a Democrat.
Yes.
Because you don't have to answer to anybody for anything. So there you go.
Well, I think people are starting to get upset about it. And, I think Anthony Burton, who is running for DA, I think that he actually is going to gain a lot of traction. He is having his first fundraiser on the 27th of July at Matthew B. Eatery downtown. So if you are available on the 27th, you should go check that out. He is going to be a great candidate for that position.
And he will be a great district attorney. This is a guy, he does not pull any punches. He doesn't gild the lily, and he's not afraid to speak out.
No, and he has not been. He's been on our show multiple times, and he will give us a list of everything that Shalina Cook-Jones is doing. So, and things that he is
she's not doing.
Exactly. He's
prosecuting criminals.
Yes. Well, and I know that he also has a lawsuit against her as well for discrimination. There have been 3 separate lawsuits filed against her for her leadership in the DA's office.
Wow. Just a coincidence, I'm sure. But again, she's playing the victim card, which is always cool.
Yes. Well, I mean, makes it so they think they have a scapegoat or a way out.
Yeah, for sure. Meanwhile, we have
last week the whistleblowers.
Yes.
The FBI whistleblowers were absolutely amazing. However, I will say it is so depressing to me how our FBI has gone after these people. They've made their lives very, very difficult, including not only the lives for them, but for their families and their wives. I know that Stephen Friend, who actually has some connections here to Savannah, his wife lost her job due to all of this shenanigans with the FBI and him becoming a whistleblower, which I think is just disgusting.
It is. It's pathetic. And it's pathetic what's happened to the FBI. I have in fact, he's going to be on with us probably in a couple of weeks, but a retired FBI agent who lives here was head of Crime Stoppers for several years. And he and some of his fellow retired agents are just sick over what's happened to the Bureau and how politicized it's become and the lack of leadership. There's some great people working in the FBI, people who've said this was their dream job. And then to have this leadership, which is so corrupt and so disgusting. But if you're really corrupt and disgusting, you get a job on CNN or MSNBC.
Yeah, they have plenty of people over there that are horrible.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
I will say I've been surprised. CNN has been having a different tune lately, though.
Mm-hmm.
I will say they have reeled in some of their anchors. I don't even know if you can call them anchors.
Really.
Personalities.
They got rid of a couple of the communists. Don Lemon is among them.
Yes, well, we had Jake Tapper admitting last week that Trump it basically makes it look like Trump was right.
But for the most part, the rest of the media is either ignoring this story or they're just poo-pooing the whole thing, saying, this isn't something we already didn't know, we already knew, or these people are turncoats. I love the way one of the anchorettes on MSDNC said that this was disloyalty to the company. This is disgruntled employees and
Yeah.
stabbing the back stabbing the back of the company, and that's just ridiculous. These guys have lost their livelihood. They are being destroyed. In fact, one of them was testifying to that fact last week.
I've sworn to defend this country from enemies, both foreign and domestic, even if that means sacrificing my life. I've lived that oath out since first enlisting in the Army, consistently saying, "Here am I, send me." My oath, however, did not include sacrificing the hopes, dreams, and livelihood of my family, my strong, beautiful, and courageous wife, and our 4 sweet and beautiful daughters who have endured this process along with me. In weaponized fashion, the FBI allowed me to accept orders to a new position halfway across the country. They allowed us to sell my family's home. They ordered me to report to the new unit when our youngest daughter was 2 weeks old. Then, on my first day on the new assignment, they suspended me, rendering my family homeless. They refused to release our goods, including our clothes, for weeks. All I wanted to do was serve my country by stopping bad guys and protecting the innocent. To my chagrin, bad guys have begun running parts of the government, making it difficult to continue to serve this nation and protect the innocent. But I, for one, will never stop trying, and I'll never forget my oath.
This is disgusting. The Bureau needs to be taken down to the studs, and we need to start over. And I don't think it can be saved at this point from the shenanigans of the upper echelon. It has to be dismantled.
Yeah, Bill, I think watching these people testify and also watching the Democrats try to get their sound bites in was just also one of the most disgusting things I've seen. They really tried to go after these people, and it's amazing. 2 years ago, when they had whistleblowers, they were like
those
up
are
on
the
pedestals.
greatest things in the world.
They were heroes.
Mm-hmm.
These people, yeah, exactly. Steve Stanton says the Dems didn't treat Veneman like that. You're absolutely correct.
Yeah.
And Veneman seemed to have, some other.
Lieutenant Colonel.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah, please.
Sorry about that,
Yeah.
Steve.
Don't forget Lieutenant Colonel.
Yeah, I forgot that.
Mm-hmm.
Steve also says the Bible says lay hands on no man suddenly or corporation, and he put in parentheses CNN. I don't disagree with you.
Yeah. The pathetic way that the Democrats have handled all of this. They haven't gone to the border. They're not doing anything about it. They vote against legislation that would help protect children, children's laws, either on the state level or on the federal level.
Well, and one of the things I really want us to dive into maybe later this week is the trafficking that's going on there. I believe the numbers are like 87,000 missing children.
Yeah.
What are we doing? Who are we as a country if this is okay? No one is talking about it. The news isn't talking about it. They sure as hell aren't doing anything up in D.C. about it. And they're allowing, what they're doing to these children coming across the border is absolutely disgusting as well. So, there are blood on the hands of this administration.
A shame we don't have a media in this country and journalists anymore. But
we have a few.
Brittany, but you can practically count them on one hand. But Brittany, you remember that they said that they loved whistleblowers when it was their whistleblower on the Democrat side.
Yeah.
But now they don't on the Republican side or on America's side. And I can remember also in television. They love these these hidden camera
people.
investigations until Veritas and those people came along, and then suddenly, this was a threat to democracy, our precious democracy, which we don't have.
I was going to say we're a constitutional republic, so
Exactly.
They are definitely wrong there. And
that's changing the language. Yep. That's one of the things that Michael Knowles wrote in his best-selling book, Speechless. And we happen to have a copy here. It was
on the desk.
It was a Father's Day present for me last year from my son. Controlling words, controlling minds. And he said, when you change the language, and listen, and look what we're having now from Stanford University, where you can't say field anymore. You can't say plantation anymore. We have to have something else. You can't say boys and girls anymore. It's just pathetic. And these people, so I've come up with we can't call it Stanford anymore. We call it Stupid University.
Well, I mean, there's plenty of those
and
on the list,
oh yeah,
unfortunately.
we got unfortunately, yeah, the higher education like the FBI needs to be taken down to the studs too.
Yeah, well, I think the CIA's played a lot of roles in things. We have a lot of bureaucracy that just needs to go away. I think we dismantle it. I think it also needs to come out of DC. A lot of the centralized offices should not be in DC. We should move them around the country with the American people so that they have a little dose of reality, because I think being in DC, they live in an echo chamber. They have no idea what the American people want or how we feel about things. They're tone deaf, and they think, I mean, they've been allowed to get away with things because I think they've been sheltered in the DC area.
Well, same with the media. You see, where are the headquarters? New York, Los Angeles, maybe Chicago a little bit, but for the most part, those three areas. It ought to be like in Topeka, Kansas, which is almost the exact geographic center of the country. And they could get a little dose of perspective. Flyover country, as it's known to the left.
Yeah, well, because they've never been there.
Exactly.
I mean,
they have no idea what goes on Main Street. And this was something that Bernie Goldberg, started at CBS. He was one of the first journalists to come out about 15 years ago with his book about how bad it was. When he saw one of the CBS reports that he couldn't fathom. He said this isn't making any sense here. And he said he worked in the newsroom in New York. Now remember, Richard Nixon, when he was reelected, won
by a landslide
49 of the 50 states. The only one he lost was Massachusetts, and that was by the hair of his chinny chin chin. And he said he's standing around in the newsroom, and everybody is coming up there and said, how did Richard Nixon get reelected? I don't even know anybody that voted for Richard Nixon. He said, this is everybody in the CBS newsroom. So here's a guy that won 49 of the 50 states, and nobody in the newsroom had voted for him or knew anybody that did vote for him. So there's where we stand. And notice that every one of these Democrat operatives, like George stuffing envelopes and people like that, suddenly get and Jake Tapper, and as well, they all work for Democrats, and suddenly they leave and they get these jobs, and they graduate to journalists, and that's where we stand with our media now. Meanwhile, the National Association of Always Complaining People is at it again.
Yeah, and he said, what trick Dick did Pels to what's going on now. That's what our friend Steve Stanton says. And I will say, with Richard Nixon, it's amazing that he won 49 states, and within 18 months, I believe he was gone.
Yeah.
That's what the media can do.
This is when they really started feeling their oats.
Yes.
And they said, we ran a president out of office, so we have that kind of power. The Watergate break-in was nothing. I mean, it was absolutely nothing. It was a tea party compared to what we're experiencing now. Yeah,
Child's
absolutely.
play.
And he stood up for his people, unfortunately. And I think if he had come out with a mea culpa right away, he would probably served out his term.
Well, I think if he had social media like we do today, I think that he would have felt the love from the people and he wouldn't have resigned. But
exactly.
That's just my thoughts on that. But who knows what would have happened in certain situations if Nixon would have finished out his term, if JFK would have lived. Like, there's all of these things that I think would have really changed the course of the country for the better. And I think that we as Americans should reflect a little more on stuff like
what
this.
if all day long.
Yes.
Meanwhile, as we said, the National Association of Always Complaining People at it again. This time they're targeting Florida. We'll talk to you about it and that more next as we continue to get real.
We'll be right.
Serving the Savannah area with the power of the Shield since 1934, with personal insurance, employee benefits, and business insurance. With integrity, security, and trust. For more information, go to thepoweroftheshield.com.
Get Real America, we are focused on Savannah, but we'd like to hear from other communities as well. We have a lot in common. Come join us today at Sweet Potatoes Kitchen for some of that good Southern home cooking, like fried chicken, fish, and mouth-watering banana pudding. Say it's the best in the world, and you won't get an argument from me. Also, those vegetables are fresh and delicious. Voted Southside's best restaurant in Savannah at least 5 times, and large corporate parties are welcome. Tell them Bill Edwards sent you. Drop by and eat today. Everybody loves sweet potatoes.
Welcome back to Get Real America.
I'm Bill Edwards.
I'm Brittany Brown.
Well, the NAACP is up to its old tricks, or down to its old tactics.
You know, Bill, they never rest. But honestly, I don't feel like they've really done a great job for anyone.
No, they certainly don't represent. You would think when Clarence Thomas was up for Supreme Court justice, you would think they would have been supporting. Say, oh wow, a black man is about to become, one of the most powerful people on the planet. We're so excited about this. If they really were the National Association for the Advancement of Color People, they don't call themselves color people anymore, but people of color. But nevertheless, they now have they were doing everything they could to throw brickbats into that arena, and now they continue to do that. If conservative black people step off the black plantation, as it were, then they are the ones who are getting criticized. And suddenly, Ron DeSantis is the bad guy here. With some legislation in Florida that is designed to save the people and save the state, and the NAACP is not happy about it.
NAACP has issued a travel advisory for Florida, and it's urging the black community to avoid visiting or moving to the Sunshine State. According to the statement, the advisory comes in direct response to Republican Governor Ron DeSantis' quote, aggressive attempts to erase black history. And it calls Florida openly hostile toward African Americans, people of color, and the LGBTQ individuals. CNN has reached out to Florida Governor Ron DeSantis for comment, but did not receive a response.
Wow, I didn't know Florida was such a dangerous place, Bill.
Yeah, for people of color
and LGBTQ people.
Yeah, for sure.
The craziest thing is that Florida had the most people move to it between 2020 to now.
And that continues to happen. And where are they moving out of? Florida, California, New York,
Pennsylvania. Any Democrat state that you can think of, that's where they're moving from.
Yeah, that's right.
So
no state taxes.
No, but the housing market there is quite expensive. It didn't used to be as expensive as it is now, but you have good governance and you have a lot of people flocking there.
Supply and demand.
Yep, that's what happens.
There you go.
So,
the only thing dangerous about it is you might get hit by a hurricane every once in a while.
That is very true. That is very true. But you will have some good Congress people.
Yeah, yes, there is.
I will say, have you watched? I think her name's Kat McCormick.
Yeah, she's terrific, as opposed to Debbie Wafflemouth Schultz.
Yes, but she's also a Floridian. I was like, really? Where are you guys getting these people? We need to find our own here in Georgia. We need these firebrands. She was incredible when she interviewed the whistleblowers last week. Her husband is actually I believe he does raids.
Yeah.
So she had a lot of stuff to say about that and how the FBI works.
Well, so, and speaking of which, I had when I was talking about my retired FBI agent friend, I said, why aren't you guys getting together to help these folks? Why aren't you going? And what's the opposite of GoFundMe? Pick up now and donate whatever it is.
Give, send, go.
Yeah, give, send, go. Donate to that to these guys' defense, and also to their families. Let them go shopping at Target, because you can walk out with $900 worth of stuff and not get prosecuted. You know what?
Target deserves everything they get. They're on my I do not shop there and will never shop there ever again list.
Yeah, it's a good store, terrible organization, terrible company.
Yep.
And Walmart's getting there too.
I don't shop there either.
Yeah.
So
Try not to, but sometimes it's just the convenience of it all and
Yep.
what we might need right away. But at the same time, don't go there if I don't absolutely have to. I'll find someplace else to go if they have it.
Yep.
And why aren't we helping these people? Because they are helping us. Because it's the old story of the Lutheran minister in Germany during the Nazi era back in the 30s and 40s. He said, they came for the trade unionists, and I wasn't a trade unionist, so I didn't object. They came for the Jews. I wasn't a Jew, so I didn't object. Then they came for the communists. I wasn't a communist, so I didn't object. So then they came for me, and there was nobody left to object. Sooner or later, it gets down to you.
Well, I think that's the big thing, Bill, is that we have a society that only cares about ourselves. We care about how many likes we're getting on Facebook, how many likes we're getting on our Instagram, and it's all about me. And I think that we have lost that sense of community and sense of service to other people. And I think that that's really what has caused a lot of this breakdown is that, well, I don't care what that person does. It doesn't impact me, but really it has a societal impact. And we need to remember that what people do does matter. And we kind of have been like, well, you do your thing. You want to be immoral. You want to be, disgusting and do things that I don't believe in. That's fine. But instead of holding people to some sort of moral standard, which we should.
Yeah, and you call them out like pedophiles or something like that, and they get new names. You call them something else now, and don't criticize their lifestyle.
Minor attracted person. I'm sorry. No, you're a pedophile, and I'm sorry. In my opinion, there is no rehabbing a pedophile.
No, you're right. So that's one of the things that we're fighting here, and legislation that is going down, that is being fought and tooth and nail by the Democrat. I don't understand it. Somebody explain it to me.
I don't know.
If you know a Democrat, show them how to use the computer, and send us an email.
Yes, let us know their thoughts on it, because I will tell you what, Chris Hayes had a meltdown.
Boy, he sure did. Yeah, because of if you think it's okay to chop off the body parts of your young children, and the medical field, I am so disappointed. Having as a frustrated thoracic surgeon, I am so disappointed in the medical field that are performing these surgeries on kids that are 10 or 11 years old, and giving them medicine that doesn't need to be given, or as far as I'm concerned, shouldn't even exist. But the fact that they are approving all of this and going along with it from medical universities right on down is just disgusting. But Chris Hayes from BSDNC, the high school kid that has his show called All In, just outraged over the fact that state legislators are actually trying to protect children.
Now, the sick irony here, the one that I just can't get over and really kind of sticks with me, is that the right-wing movement that gave us this new law signed yesterday is the very same group of people that screamed about parental rights for years amidst the pandemic. I get to say whether my kid wears a mask. I get to say whether my kid gets vaccinated. I get to say whether my kid goes to school. And Ron DeSantis was the public face of that movement.
But let me tell you this, if you're coming after the rights of parents in Florida, I'm standing in your way. I'm not going to let you get away with it.
What a tough guy. You see all that swagger? He's going to stand in your way if you're coming after parental rights, if you try to tell a parent what they can do with their kids. That very same wing of the Republican Party, embodied by Ron DeSantis and the government of the state of Florida, has now demanded and produced a situation in which the government, that guy you saw there with the tough guy swagger about freedom, is going to decide if your child, who lives in your home, that you gave birth to or raised, that you love, your kid, what kind of care they can get. He decides. Care that, to be clear, the American Academy of Pediatrics supports and recommends. Think about what this means. Right now, as I'm speaking to you, there are parents and families in Florida who have decided, as a family, as parents, along with their doctors, that this health care, gender-affirming care, is the best care for their kids. You may not like it, but you know what? It's none of your, excuse me, goddamn business. To me, that is what the courage to be free means. Freedom means that in my household, our family decides what kind of health care our child does or does not get. Not Ron DeSantis, not the Republican Party.
So my thoughts on that, Bill, is, you know, we don't allow parents to allow their children to get tattoos, to get certain piercings until they're of age.
Drink?
Yes. So I do. What he's saying does not really resonate with me, because I feel like there are restrictions we put on things to keep people safe. And when you look at what these people want to do to children, and this is horrible, Bill, but when you look at the fact that they want their kids to have abortions, they want to mutilate or prevent their children from having kids based off of this. For me, it's people that do this to their kids. I feel like it's Munchausen by proxy. It doesn't make sense why you would want to force your kid to be different like this. But we're seeing a lot of this.
Kids go through phases.
Yes.
You know, the boys that dress up and, you know, wear mom's high heels and, you know, put on the dress or something like that when they're 7 or 8 years old, or maybe younger, thinking that it's cute or something along those lines. And
well, they're trying to be like their parent, right?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
It's not.
And actually, Hayes has actually contradicted his own argument, because this was to protect parents from the decision being taken away from the parents. The parents are saying, you know, they don't want their child to be, you know, they don't want their little boy to have their penis whacked off or their girls to have their breasts chopped off. They actually want them to still be a kid, and yet the schools and the media are taking over the in loco parentis from schools, saying, we're going to get you this operation, or we're going to get you this medicine, and we're not going to let your parents know. We're not going to tell your parents. So let's just keep that a secret between us. Kind of like what the pedophiles used to do. You know, this is our little secret. You know, don't tell your parents about it.
Don't you think that that's something called grooming, which I think that they've accused us of overusing? However, when going back to drag shows, when you want to dance in front of children, there is something seriously wrong with that. I don't care. I don't care what adults do. 18 and up, do your thing. Small children have no business being in a room like that. We don't allow them in strip clubs. We don't allow them in bars. And it's for a good reason. It's not a place for children. I don't know why we're now bringing that kind of adult entertainment into libraries, into family-friendly brunches and things like that. We should not be doing it. Schools.
And they're doing it now on our military bases. And we heard that from our Secretary of Defense, that incompetent boob was before Congress. And remember when Matt Gaetz asked him, you know, why are taxpayers funding these drag shows? He said, no, they're not. But he said, you know, we're doing this for the morale. A drag show for morale? I was in the Army for almost 12 years. Okay, we didn't have drag shows, and there was nothing wrong with morale.
So you wouldn't have wanted a drag show?
I would have
to help you guys, like.
I would have. The thought of it, especially on a military base, was just preposterous.
Well, the times have changed, Bill. They have changed significantly.
Yeah, I'm getting to the point where I'm not recognizing my country.
Yep, I'm with you, Bill. And when we get back, we're going to be talking about someone that didn't recognize the materials that were being used for their patriotic clothing line.
Yes, yeah. Company from Savannah standing up. At Get Real America, we want to make sure that the real story gets out, and you can help us as a sponsor or as an advertiser to make sure that word does get out to the community.
Be a sponsor and support your local community here at Get Real America.
don't think it's an accident that I ended up writing music for a living, because I think I lived in a house where I saw how deeply it affected everyone in the house. And just how much everyone defined themselves by the music they listened to.
Music as a framework, I think, gave my parents my identity from a young age. You can like any music that you want if it makes you feel happy. And now when I hear certain songs, I think of them, and I think of them in their happiest state, and it makes me happy.
If they seem like they're having trouble talking about something, I try to tell them about a time when I felt something similar.
Whatever the issue was, we would tell them the pros and cons and how important it was that they had come to us because we could always help them. I think the real important point, we always told them, no matter what you do, no matter what happens, we will help you through it no matter what it is.
Come join us today at Sweet Potatoes Kitchen for some of that good Southern home cooking, like fried chicken, fish, and mouth-watering banana pudding. Say it's the best in the world, and you won't get an argument from me. Also, those vegetables are fresh and delicious. Voted Southside's best restaurant in Savannah at least 5 times, and large corporate parties are welcome. Tell them Bill Edwards sent you. Drop by and eat today. Everybody loves sweet potatoes.
Serving the Savannah area with the power of the Shield since 1934. With personal insurance, employee benefits, and business insurance. With integrity, security, and trust. For more information, go to thepoweroftheshield.com.
Yeah.
Welcome back to Get Real America.
I'm Bill Edwards.
I'm Brittany Brown.
And the stuff made right here in Savannah, 9 Line Apparel. This is one of the great American success stories. Tyler and Danny Merritt started this company that has now grown by leaps and bounds about 7 or 8 years ago in their garage, and has grown. They have this manufacturing facility right outside the city limits.
Beautiful building.
Oh,
Beautiful.
yeah. I mean, just enormous. And making some of the greatest, it's called 9 Line Apparel, making some of the greatest clothing for patriotic Americans that you've ever seen. Tyler Merritt now is the head honcho, and they've done some discoveries that they say they want their stuff to be 100% American made, or at least the material that comes in, they also want it to be at least approved. I didn't know you could do this, but you can do DNA on clothing, on cloth. And Tyler Merritt was on yesterday on Fox and Friends Weekend with Pete Hegseth to explain what it's all about.
Slave labor region in China. Our next guest is so committed to making sure his patriotic fashion line is ethically sourced that he tested the fabric to find out its country of origin. But when he learned that one of his suppliers was using cotton from slave labor region in China, he knew he had to speak out.
Identified one supplier that fell below the high standards we expected, and we decided to return any products purchased from that supplier until further test confirms that all products come from sustainable sources. We believe that companies must meet their words with their actions. 9 Line Apparel will test, identify, and stop any further exploitation of forced labor.
Tyler Merritt is a vet and the CEO of 9 Line Apparel and joins us now. Tyler, thanks for being here. So I bet a lot of people didn't know you could actually test the materials and determine what region they came from, and that's what you did. And what did you find?
Yeah, it's very similar to a DNA test. So it compares isotopes from a region in Xinjiang, China. This is a region where people are forced to work indefinitely for this simple fact of being born a Muslim. So we test this material and we've identified that Next Level Apparel, doing business as YS Garments, which is the country of the importer of record, that's what came back consistent with Xinjiang cotton, not once, but a second time that we tested at a different lot, a different batch from a different distribution center, came back as being consistent as well. So we've tested Bella Canvas, we've tested Hanes, we've tested District Thread, our other major manufacturing partners, and they did not have any consistency with this slave region. But when I reached out to Next Level and I spoke with the CEO, I was essentially told that they have a zero tolerance policy, but never to elaborate really what that means. And that's what I'm doing here. Their lawyers have hit me up on a weekly, monthly basis telling me to stop testing, telling me to essentially that they've got this under control. They're going to do testing from here on out, and they're going to self-govern. But that's unacceptable to me.
They're coming after you. And here's a portion of what Next Level Apparel has said. They've said to us, forced labor is considered a zero tolerance issue, as you said, and any confirmed instances of forced labor by our suppliers with any factories and mills that produce garments, accessories, or fabric, or use of cotton grown in Xinjiang may result in termination of the business relationship. Is this something, I mean, you're staying vigilant on this. Is this something you would encourage other businesses to do, to actually find out where your stuff's being made?
Absolutely. The whole idea of test but verify, right? So I take products like Next Level and I relabel them, not just for myself, but for our partners. I do private label for some of my military units, right? I do it for church groups and school groups that my kids go to. And a lot of people don't realize that their product may derive from the slave trade. And these are church organizations, these are school groups, these are people who, visit my stores that are extremely patriotic. And at the very least, we want ethical sourcing. We do look for USA made, right? This hoodie is made in the US. This shirt is made in the US. Our product line is very wide and robust with USA made options. But at the very least, you need to pay humans in South America, Central America, and Asia. It's a minimal ethical standard. I think that everyone can get behind it. The CEOs of the companies that I work with have committed themselves to do so.
It's great to hear. The company is 9Line, and Tyler Merritt, friend of the show, appreciate you being here and raising the awareness on this.
There you go. Way to go, Tyler, and way to go, 9Line Apparel. Checking things out. I didn't know you could do DNA on cloth, but there you go.
Well, and I think that more companies need to stand by what they say,
Exactly.
right? I think that like he has so much integrity for doing this and making sure that it's public and that they know, look, we know that the fabric that was used is not the fabric we want being used because of the slave trade in China. And we want to make sure that our fabric is sourced ethically and that we're not allowing or supporting what's happening in China.
Yeah, they're trying to channel it through another source, so it doesn't look like it comes from China. Well, but nevertheless, that's what it does.
Well, that's the thing. It's always like the cups you see, like when you're trying to, at the magic show.
Yeah. Where the ball's under which cup? Swap it around.
Yes,
yeah.
That's how I feel about like also money that's donated to candidates from all those 501c3s. I feel like that's kind of the same thing.
Exactly.
Shell game. That's what it's called.
Yeah, absolutely. So but way to go, Tyler. Great people. And what they have done here is nothing short of amazing. That is a fantastic facility. You need to go out there and take a look sometime. You can get tours, but you can also go. They have a coffee bar set up there, and so you can buy some great coffee. You can get some great coffee drinks and little sandwiches and things like that. So go out and have yourself a little morning snack or lunch or something like that, and take a look at all the apparel. They've got a big warehouse type thing there. So retail sales. So check it out.
Yeah, they also do like a car show out there. They have people come bring their cars. It's actually really fun. So they do a lot of events out there, and like I said, patriotic Americans, and what's better than to support those companies?
That's right. They've also had big political rallies out there as well.
Yes.
I remember going out there just a couple of years ago, and we were trying to get Herschel Walker elected to the Senate, and they were Ted Cruz was here, Nancy Mace was here, had a whole lineup. The lady from, I believe, Congresswoman from Indiana who came here from like Russia.
I don't know.
I mean, she's just and warning us, hey, look, this happened over there, and we're not going in the right direction here. So let's turn it up a notch here and get rid of these people and not and frankly not elect Democrats. So way to go, 9Line, and way to go, Tyler. I'm gonna get Tyler on with us personally here very shortly. So we're working out. My crack staff is working on it as we speak.
That's very exciting, Bill. I have a lot of respect for them. I'm from Utah, and their company is even big there. So it's definitely. I was surprised that they were actually here in Savannah, and that they're definitely contribute to the community a lot here. So very proud that they're from Savannah.
Yeah, for sure. And in fact, Danny, Tyler's brother, now runs a farm in Statesboro, raising cattle and also making food products, sauces and things of that nature. And it's really, really first class stuff. So
well, and also has a pub, right? He has a pub out on Wilmington Island. So if you guys, the Snug Pub, if you guys haven't been out there, you should check it out. Support those patriotic businesses because
the pizza is fantastic.
You love pizza. So, Bill, climate activists. I know that we talk about climate change and how much we love it and how much we think that we should just keep going with this agenda that they're pushing.
Yeah, good old climate activists, people who haven't darkened the door of an environmental class in their lives, know nothing about what they're talking about. Just like all these other just what they've done over.
So when they did this, it went through the fountain system and it destroyed it. Yep.
Yeah.
This charcoal has done a ton of damage. Can you believe this?
When are we going to start standing up to these people? They go in and they want to destroy art. Fortunately, so I think the art is protected by protected glass or something like that. But they go in and they throw oil. These are the oil people. In fact, I'll bet you that every one of those people is wearing a product that's made out of petroleum.
Yes, well, and it kind of looks like they've covered their faces and things
Why don't
like
they
that.
want us to know who they are? They're so damn popular.
Good question.
And why is everybody just standing around?
Well, because they're doing their protest in the water with this charcoal to prove a point. But I think that they have gotten so out of control with this activism with the
well, it's this. I mean, they're going to start killing people pretty soon.
Yeah. Well,
these are the same crowd that's protesting on college campuses when people like Charlie Kirk come to town.
Yeah, and I will tell you, I've seen some really great videos of Charlie Kirk owning a lot of the college students because they do not understand really anything.
They can't stand up. No wonder they protest because they don't have any basis for their argument when he shoots them down with facts.
Yeah, well, Bill, I think the thing is they've made these high school and college kids so angry because they feel like we're destroying the earth and they're not going to have anything left, and in 10 years we're all going to be extinct because of climate change, and it's just not true.
Well, just remember that these are the people that I went to college with. The hippies. Now at Ole Miss we had some pseudo hippies, but for the most part we were going to class and still learning stuff. But this is when Cal Jerkley and all those other rioters and things were taking place in the college campuses and the riots that were destroying property, burning down buildings, going in and taking over the administration building. As the old saying goes, once upon a time when you saw a student going into the dean's office or going to the college president's office, it was the student who was in trouble. And then it turned on its head. And the campus riots of the 60s, that Jane Fonda and her crowd, unfortunately Jane's still around bitching and moaning about America. She sure has made a lot of money on that great capitalist system, just like Bernie Sanders. He got he just got a $178,000 bonus on his book about destroying, about how bad capitalism is. Got $178,000 for it. Nice work if you can get it.
The thing is they're a bunch of hypocrites.
Yeah. Oh, exactly right. But during the campus riots of the 60s, let me tell you about what the news media didn't tell you about the person who was in charge, the media darling of the day. Talk about her, and also somebody who maybe appreciates America now, next.
Who is a kid? Well, that's a kid. And another. Look, a gaggle of them. Or is it a herd? Litter? pride. But what about her? Tell her she's not a kid. Or him. So how do we tell who is a kid? Height? Age, maybe. But some of us have to grow up faster than others. A kid. A kid. A kid wants to make the world better. And one day, he just might. Is a kid fearless? Vulnerable? Strong? Nervous? Yes. 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 Kiwanis is 600,000 kids at heart doing all the little and big things it takes to help children around the world. Because kids need Kiwanis. All of them.
I'm coming home, Savannah. We'll never be alone, Savannah. The beauty of the world, Savannah. Let's all take a walk, Savannah. I'm coming home, Savannah.
When you're looking to buy a business or sell a business, the experts at Best Business Brokers have you covered. Whether you're ready to cash in on your years of hard work or you're taking that first step in buying a business of your own, they're here to guide you through the process and make sure you get the best outcome possible. By having Best Business Brokers assist you when you buy a business or sell a business, they handle the legwork of the intricate process. This ensures a smooth transition of ownership, allowing you to get to work immediately or receive payment for your business as soon as possible. With base operations in Savannah and Charleston, they service all of Georgia and South Carolina. If you're considering starting a business here, the mild winters and 5-tiered economic areas make these the perfect places to do so. If you're ready to buy a business or sell a business, then you're ready to contact Best Business Brokers. Visit their website at b3brokers.com or call at 912-349-0940.
Serving the Savannah area with the power of the Shield since 1934 with personal insurance, employee benefits, and business insurance. With integrity, security, and trust. For more information, go to thepoweroftheshield.com.
Come join us today at Sweet Potatoes Kitchen for some of that good Southern home cooking, like fried chicken, fish, and mouth-watering banana pudding. Say it's the best in the world, and you won't get an argument from me. Also, those vegetables are fresh and delicious. Voted Southside's best restaurant in Savannah at least 5 times, and large corporate parties are welcome. Tell them Bill Edwards sent you. Drop by and eat today. Everybody loves sweet potatoes.
Welcome back to Get Real America.
I'm Bill Edwards.
I'm Brittany Brown.
Happy Monday here. It is the 22nd day of May. All of a sudden, happy birthday to one of my favorite childhood chum, Billy Dowell.
Oh, happy birthday to you.
Yeah, for sure.
Our friend Lizzie Warren is with us this morning, and she says on the climate, the leaders advocating for limiting fossil fuels are the ones burning them at a higher rate than every average person who has been deemed the problem.
Exactly.
You're absolutely correct, Lizzie.
And by the way, all this supposed environmentally friendly stuff, as we've mentioned before, windmills and solar panels and electric car, all this stuff is made out of petroleum products. All of this stuff is made out of petroleum products for the most part, especially solar panels. Meanwhile, we were talking about the campus riots and how they've reinvented themselves, because the people now and the teachers and the administrators in college now were the ones who were the students then.
That are teaching all the propaganda.
Yeah, they're running the media. They're running Hollywood, And so that's why we're getting all this left-wing crap, and that's why these colleges and universities have deteriorated into indoctrination centers run by the commie pinkos. During the riots of the 60s, out in Cal Jerkley, there was a young lady by the name of Bettina. Bettina was the darling of the media at the time. She was the one who was in charge. She was one who was organizing these riots and these sit-ins and demonstrations on campus. She was the one who taught kids to go limp when the police come to arrest you, so it would take more of them to carry you off. So that was one of her.
Very talented
Yeah.
person.
Oh yeah, extremely talented, multi-talented. The media didn't bother to tell you, even at the time, not Walter Cronkite, the most trusted man in America, or John Chancellor at the National Broadcasting Company, now known as the National Barak Channel, or Howard K. Smith at the Arab Broadcasting Company, bothered to tell you who Bettina was. Bettina was Bettina Apathager. And her father was Herbert Apathager, who just happened to be, at the time, the president of the Communist Party of America. This wasn't some little girl who just happened to be there at the right place at the right time. She was a hardcore communist, and the media didn't mention that once. So there's where we stand now. Where we have these people who were the campus rioters at the time are now the ones in charge of much of the media as well as teaching in the classroom. A lot of them are getting to retirement age, but the way things stand now, they have trained enough people coming along that the pool of communists and left-wing loons seems to be almost endless.
Well, and our friend Steve Statton says Harry Reeser?
Harry Reasoner?
Yeah, Bill will know. I don't know anything about this person. Can you enlighten me?
Well, Harry Reasoner was a CBS newsman.
Oh, okay.
And one of the CBS anchors, usually sitting in for either Cronkite or whoever the CBS anchor was.
Okay.
He would sit in on vacations and things of that nature. Harry was pretty straight down the middle. Harry was a good one of the good guys.
Well, Steve definitely knew that I wouldn't know who that was.
Yeah.
He mentioned Bill will know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Well, I bet you all know who Brittany Griner is. And for those of you that don't know, she's the basketball player that broke the rules in Russia, and she was held in a prison there. And we negotiated for a terrorist to be released.
Yeah,
for
to get
her release.
to get her out. And but we're still working hard to get the Navy guy that has been there for 7 years. We're still working hard to get him out. Anthony Winkin and Blinken and the rest of the cretins at the State Department. It's another organization that needs to be taken down to the studs.
Yeah, definitely not a fair trade in my opinion. I think that, Brittany Griner, she broke the rules, she knew the rules, and thought that she could get away with it. And she's the one that hated America, sat down for the
national anthem. But she's back now, and maybe with a little bit of a different attitude.
Except for her coach was a little upset over this weekend, and she's about to tell you why.
Yeah.
I expected more, to be honest, right? Like, it was great, it was loud, but how was it not a sellout? How was it not a sellout? But
they did not sell out the arena for Brittany Griner's return.
Just to give you nobody cares about the NBA or WNBA, okay?
We barely care about the NBA anymore because they're so woke.
Yeah, much less the WNBA. We just don't care, all right? Name a team. Show of hands. Name a single team in the WNBA. Atlanta has one?
Didn't Kelly Loeffler?
Kelly Loeffler was.
That's all I know about it.
Was at least
owner.
I think the majority owner. I think she's given up on that. But the players on the team were totally against her. Were besmirching her and slapping her. Said, this woman's paying your salary, okay? She's seeing to it that you have a job. You ought to show a little more appreciation, whether you like her politics or not. And you don't have to support her politics, but you don't have to come down on her. I've had people, that have tried that on their job, and have are walking the unemployment line.
Yep. Well, and our friend Steve has a reason for why no one cares about the WNBA. He says because the WNBA is boring.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
I'm not a big sports person, but I don't think I would ever watch a women's sport, like maybe tennis. That I think that's a little bit more interesting. But as far as I would rather watch male basketball. I mean, I have no interest in ever seeing a women's football team.
Or soccer.
No, especially with who we have on the soccer teams these days.
Yeah,
no
kidding.
thank you.
Yeah.
David Beckham. Yes, I would show up for a game. But as far as
is he pretending to be a woman now?
No, definitely
okay,
not.
good.
Definitely
Okay,
not.
good. Glad to hear
he
that.
plays male soccer. So, I just think it's interesting. It's just not the same. I think, maybe that's why they're allowing men to participate in women's sports. Maybe that's why they're trying to make it more interesting. However, women are getting hurt, and I do think there is a place for women's sports. And there are people that watch it. I'm just not one of those people.
Oh, I love women's swimming, and I have a huge crush on Katie Ledecky, who is one of the best swimmers in the history of the world. And when she dove into the pool, the only question was who's going to be in second. My wife calls her my girlfriend. I was trying to get Katie Ledecky here a few years ago after she'd won 5 gold medals, I think, or maybe it was 7 at the Olympics. And the NBC station here, WSAV, which is on your side, by the way, weren't on mine, but they were on yours. But nevertheless, we're carrying the Olympics. Katie Ledecky's birthday is March the 17th, St. Patrick's Day. Katie Ledecky is Catholic. And I went to the WSAV people, and I still had a few friends over there, said, why don't we get her here for the parade?
Oh, that would be fun.
Call the NCAA and see if they can kind of waive the rule. Tell her, she's not making any money on this. We just want her to ride. You can put her on the WSAV float. They're on your side, So put her on the float. She just won all these medals. And, going through the parade, the place would go crazy. He got nowhere with that. I mean, nowhere. They didn't seem interested in any way, shape, or form.
Wow.
To get her here. Her birthday was St. Patrick's Day. She's Catholic. And we have the second biggest parade. NBC was carrying the Olympics, and they could have had her on the WSAV float, and nobody was interested.
That's a shame, Bill.
I did get a call from some of the firefighters somewhere. Said she can ride on our truck, but I
don't think she would have had a problem finding a float.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's for sure. But they couldn't get the idiots that run WSAV interested.
Yeah, and on a side note, Brittany Griner's tune has changed, and she did stand for the national anthem. Imagine that.
Yeah. She said it said it took on kind of a different flavor for her, different meaning. Yeah. Do you think?
It definitely means something when the country gets you out of Russian prison. Turns out for this person that is like a warmonger that went back to Russia during, I think we're at war right now.
Yeah,
so,
proxy war.
Yeah.
But why don't we have? We got some more terrorists that we could trade to Russia, couldn't we? To get some more of our. We still got several other Americans that are still behind bars over there for no reason whatsoever. The guy they arrested was saying that he was a spy over there vacationing.
Okay. Well, and Steve said, you know what? If it was Leah Thompson, she would have been on the float.
Mm-hmm.
You're not wrong. You are not wrong.
Exactly. Yeah. So apparently they weren't on Katie Ledecky's side.
Definitely not.
Mm-hmm.
And
no, they weren't on mine.
No, and that's going to do it for us today. But we'll be back tomorrow, and this week is going to look a little different. Bill is going to be doing the show on Wednesday by himself, and we will be having a guest host on Thursday. So
for sure.
Definitely a different week for us, but we hope you'll tune in and download the app. Check us out on YouTube, Facebook, Vimeo, Twitch, Twitter.
Lizard Spit, whatever's new this week. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So check us out and tell all your friends.
Yep,
Stay
we'll
real.
see you tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.